More than 12 million men and women in a single year are victims of physical abuse by an intimate partner in America. And for women, the most dangerous time typically is when they decide it's time to leave that relationship.
Here in Michigan, statistics show 36% of women experience abuse within a romantic relationship, but it can take 8 months to find safe shelter. But as Carolyn Clifford shows us, for some, the path to safety comes too late.
In our series, Breaking Free from Domestic Violence, we wanted to explore the way forward for women suffering at the hand of an abuser. For many, that means reaching out to agencies that have the resources and the tools to help. So tonight, we are lifting the voices of those who make opening the door to freedom both doable and sustainable. How are you?
I can say a lot better. A better headspace, mentally, physically, spiritually.
It's been 8 long years of healing for Faith Brown. After enduring one of the most gut-wrenching cases of domestic violence many have ever heard. Her husband murdered their 4 children and made her watch in horror. The youngest 2 by carbon monoxide poisoning.
He zip-tied my son and then my daughter and told us that we need to go to the basement.
Faith says she thought he was going to take the kids and leave. Instead,
he shot my daughter in the back, like here. Those are immediate death shots that you'll never recover from. And then he shot my son.
She remembers her daughter looking to her in desperation for help.
That's where he proceeded to cut me and then shot me.
He sliced her face open on both sides, the scars still visible, and called 911. Faith, who faced her ex in court,
"There's no punishment that fits the crime. Not even torture and death would be justice,"
wrote the book, The Monster Who Killed His Family Twice, because her ex murdered his first wife while she was pregnant. He is now serving life behind bars.
When you look at your ex-husband and everything he did to you and your kids, do you think he was mentally ill?
I definitely think that there was some type of mental illness there, just simply because of the mood swings.
Faith says he was sinister and psychologically demeaning with their kids, removing doorknobs or slamming the door in her baby girl's face.
She was only 2.
Did you feel when you said, "I want to divorce you," or how did that come about? Did you talk to him and did you feel like, oh my God, this man might kill me?
I just remember that day, he was so upset, yelling, hollering. I mean, there was a few times I felt a little nervous, but nothing to where I thought my life was going to be threatened.
What would your message be to another woman?
My message would be leave. I know it's not always easy, but have a plan. If I could do it all over again, I would have had my children and myself moved first and then had them served. I believe it's better and safer.
Faith knows that now after years of counseling through First Step, a domestic violence nonprofit. Before that, she was downing alcohol and medication to numb the pain.
I did for a long time have guilt because I couldn't save them.
Faith had to work through much of that agony with her First Step counselor, who allowed her grace without shame.
I was progressing and I might have relapsed and started drinking again, or I wouldn't feel bad if I told my counselor that.
First Step is now opening their second location here in the Samaritan Center in Detroit. They will begin renovations in 2025 with plans to open a year later with 21 desperately needed beds. Lori Kitchen-Bushell is the executive director.
A lot of people don't understand when women are trying to escape domestic violence, there are not a lot of beds. So this is really, really needed here.
Absolutely. So we at First Step are kind of targeted to serve Wayne County and the city of Detroit. And we have 10 rooms, which allows for about 45 to 55 beds in the city of Wayne. And that's the primary comprehensive service provider shelter for the entire county.
30 to 50% of service calls to First Step come from the city of Detroit. Faith learned about First Step in the hospital.
I've seen such a change in her from the first time I talked to her till now, and you've been here every step of the way.
We're experts in this. We understand it. We understand the nuance. You don't have to teach us what you go through. And that's part of what it was with Faith. The other thing is we just wrapped our arms around her. And that's what we do. We believed her. We put her in charge of her destiny.
This new shelter with the kitchen, playroom, beautiful bedrooms, and even a beauty salon will be a welcome sight to those who have suffered so much.
We have 200 families a month calling for a shelter bed, and we are always full.
As for Faith, who is working on her own nonprofit.
It's right before Christmas, and for the first time in 8 years, after losing your children, you have a glimmer of hope because you might buy a Christmas tree.
Yes. Yeah. Yesterday, something came over me. I was like, ooh, I think I might buy a little tree.
Do you feel like it's necessary to tell people, especially in a series like this, that it is a journey, but sometimes it can take years,
Yes.
decades, or a lifetime to heal?
Healing is a process. Healing doesn't look pretty. Healing is ugly. No one can tell you how to heal.
Faith keeps meaningful displays of artwork that she and her children created. She says it makes her feel like they are present in her life and fulfills her promise to keep her precious children's memory alive. Now, Faith is still healing, but has come a long way, and that was certainly great to see, even her smile. She says she owes a lot to First Step for where she is today. First Step impacts the lives of 7,000 survivors annually. Their new shelter will open in 2026. And remember, if you need help, call Michigan's Domestic Violence Hotline. It is open every day of the year, around the clock. Call or text 1-866-VOICE-DV for a confidential conversation. It just might save your life. So very, very important. And those beds at that shelter, so important, because if Faith could have gotten out, or so many other victims could get out and get shelter, you know, they'd still be here today.
It's a remarkable healing journey, as you talked about, over a period of years, and hearing Faith talk about just how difficult it is and how it's not always pretty.
8 years, but she has come a long way, and now you just heard me say she's starting her own nonprofit, so she'll help other victims as well.
That's amazing. I hate that she has this story, but her testimony is so powerful.
Absolutely.
So thank you,
Thank you, Carolyn.